super easy questions to ask before launching your next authority site, marketplace, directory business, or online community. Yeah, hey everybody, this is Ian from mindfulmarketplace.com, and I just uploaded this 9-point graphic to your members area, and I wanted to share just a little bit of extra context that I think is quite helpful for building a brand, launching a community, and essentially getting super clear on what it is that you're building, what tools you have at your disposal that are most amenable to the objective, and really ultimately, what sort of, how can you debug your thinking in the initial stages and kind of stave off any potential problems as a result. So here are the 9 points, and then I'll add some extra context with a short PDF, again, in the members area as well. All right, so number one, no big surprise here. What can you borrow to build? What can you leverage to launch, right? What tools, tech, products, platforms, software services, essentially what is out there right now that will help you expedite the process of bringing your big vision to life, right? There are, an avalanche of things out there for every type of, app or community or marketplace or directory. You don't need to recreate the wheel, and way too often I see people try to do that. And I'll give you a little bit of context about that when we're done, or maybe I'll just write that out and stick it in the, in the PDF so that you get at least my thoughts on why that is and how that can be, really detrimental to building, or actually just getting something off the ground. If you're constantly trying to perfect it and, kind of hiring out high-end programming and all sorts of nonsense that you think you need, but you really don't, it invariably leads to torpedoing whatever it is that you're trying to build. All right, number two, where is the back end? What offers products, programs, and services will help you win big, right? And again, this is never, ever, ever a featured listing or some sort of monthly fee. I mean, it's very, very few and far between, very rare to find a platform like a Yelp or a, some directory style offer that has thousands and tens of thousands of listings that's making money from the featured listings or the monthly fees. There are some out there for sure, and I think those are the easy ones for us to target in our minds as entrepreneurs and say these are the models that are winning, and they really aren't, right? Those are the sort of black swans, the outliers, the ones who typically got in very early and own the eyeballs in a given niche or market or industry in such a way that it's silly to compete with that. I would also say that you can make far more money in 99% of the use cases with a big back end, right? Selling services, using the authority site as your leverage piece, as the appearance of authority, as your, sort of exhibit A, that you are the go-to person in your community, in your niche, in your vertical, that you're a thought leader, and you use that as the sort of, the appeal that you're that you're making to choose you over your competition, right? Again, having a big back end that is made much more attractive by dint of having a asset that you own, an authority site, is really a can't miss strategy. It's really, in my view, the quintessential smart approach to this style business. All right, number three, which platform, right? Which platform does what you need with no muss, fuss, mess, or stress? I can't stress this enough, right? I mean, if you're trying to hack together a WordPress theme with all the, disparate plugins and, and scripts and all this sort of stuff to make it work for you, to make your dream platform come to life, the chances are it's not going to happen, right? You're just going to spend all of your time fucking with the tech rather than actually doing the marketing. You're going to be struggling to get everything to work the way you want it to work, because it's not built that, it's not designed for that. that. WordPress, as I've covered many times, I'm not going to do that again here, while it can be a really useful way of building one of these sites in an MVP, minimum viable product format, it's not built for directories, right? So, you have to hack it together to sort of make it work the way that you envision. But you can ask what platforms are out there now that actually do what you want to do out of the box, right? So something like ShareTribe is perfect for multi-vendor marketplaces out of the box. It's what they do. Commissions, rentals, service offers, it looks good, etc. It's more expensive, yes, but it does what you want by definition, by design, rather than as an outlier use case, which is something that, that WordPress brings to the table, right? It's not natively designed to do what you want. You can make it work, but it's a lot of effort. It's a lot of heavy lifting. So again, I've covered this before, but for membership sites, something like Ghost has that built in. The Ghost CMS has memberships and subscriptions built in, right? Doesn't cost anything extra. Something like Elliot, which I've been talking about recently, does multi-vendor marketplace setups built in, Stripe enabled, pays out your vendors by Stripe without any plugins. All they need to do is have a Stripe account, and you can set that up in literally 20 minutes. All right, all of those things are the right questions to ask at this stage of your process. Certainly, I understand not asking those and the cost for not asking those, because I spent a lot of my professional career asking the wrong questions and paying for that later. All right, this is similar. Again, number 4, what framework, right? Which themes or plugins or templates will you use and why, right? Getting really clear about that in the beginning is really important, because most people are professional theme buyers, right? When it comes to these sorts of sites. There was there was a comment I will never forget on the Astoundify, one of the Astoundify themes. I think it was, I don't remember, it might have been Listify, but the then owner, it's now ownership has changed, but they built Marketify, Listify, Jobify, etc., all of those themes. And they've sold that company, by the way, to a new company that I certainly wouldn't recommend. But one of the questions that someone posed on one of those themes about some functionality or whatever that they wanted, and the lead developer of Astoundify wrote in the comment, "You are a professional theme buyer, right? You are a full-time theme buyer." And he was saying it in a very sardonic and sarcastic and sort of, pejorative way. He was insulting the person. But I don't even think the person realized they were being insulted. And I think that that's a real problem that I see in this space. People professionally sort of ruminate and perseverate and buy the same themes or buy different versions of the same idea by virtue of many different themes over and over again, right? So they buy Listify, they buy Listing Pro, they buy My Listing, they buy Listable, they buy, just all of the different ones that you can think of. And I've done that. I've often done that for the purposes of trying them out and testing them and doing reviews, because I have an income stream that comes from doing that, using those themes as the basis for doing these sorts of videos and audios and selling content around helping people make the right decisions. But even I'm guilty of that. Like, I can think of so many hours of my life that have been wasted playing with a theme that I just bought at 2:00 in the morning when I should have been sleeping or working on something else or watching TV or managing my own life in a better way, right? So don't just continuously buy themes. And the truth of the matter is making the right decision in the very beginning, like buying something that is WooCommerce enabled, right? I mean, most are now, but WooCommerce is a universal convention that you can use. I mean, I've used on directory sites now where I'm not even using any directory plugins or frameworks. I'm just using WooCommerce as the product, the listings or the products, right? And that's never going to change. So that future-proofs my project, because I know that WooCommerce ain't going out of business. They're not, they're only going to get better. They're only going to improve. Is it a true directory? No. But if I launch with that fundamental kind of convention that is, the the framework that I'm choosing, I can then layer on later the better ideas, right? So you can, so that's really important, like choosing something that's kind of future-proof, that you're not going to keep switching and changing and searching for the next bright and shiny object, etc., the next best theme, the next best looking theme, the next best plugin. And that's what 95% of the people that I bump up against in this space are doing. All right, number 5, what is your end outcome? What does success look like, right? I mean, what does that look like for you? Like, having a really clear view is really, really important. Do you still own the site in 5 years? Like, I ask myself that all the time. If I'm building something new, do I own this in 5 years, or do I want to sell it? Am I going to eventually give up on it if it doesn't work? Or is this something that I can tether something about my own, personal aspirations and life, objectives into this, right? So this whole mindful marketplace community for us has become really important to me from the standpoint of, this is also something I'm very interested in personally, very interested in meditation, mindfulness, personal growth, living in a more harmonious way with myself and others. And entrepreneurialism. It's always going to be something I love and have passion for. So no matter what I'm doing in any given moment, I know what success looks like for me on multiple in multiple ways running that community. Even if ultimately what it looks like in 5 years is much different, I will own it. It's still going to be part of, what I am passionate about as a person and as a professional. All right. Number 6, what is your budget? What are you willing to spend to get it off the ground? So many people just don't even ask this question, right? So I'll ask people this question in consultation calls. All right, so what's your budget? And they'll be like, well, I just spent like $80 on the theme and a plugin. I'm like, yeah, dude, that's not a budget. Like, that's like, that's a kind of the price of admission, right? Just to kind of get the thing off, out of your head and onto paper or pixel, right? You need to have a real budget. If you have no budget, these kinds of sites are very, very difficult to launch. These kinds of communities are hard to build, so don't even start until you have some sort of budget that you can allocate to building it. All right, number 7, how will you seed the site, right? Super important. And I've covered this on many, many other videos. I mean, can you pay someone to send email outreach to your community? Can you run Facebook ads? That's even better. Or, can let me restate that. Can you pay someone to do email outreach to folks who are in your audience right now, right? I mean, there's a lot of ways of just going out and finding good analogs or example sites that are in your niche right now that you can poach, for lack of a better word. You can just make better offers to those people, right? Or make different offers, right? How will you see the site? Can you run Facebook ads? I mean, that's a great way. How will you get your first 100 members? Really, really important to know, and it's really important to ask, all right? Number 8, what do you do best, right? What is the one thing that you do really, really, really well and have complete confidence in, right? Comes back to number 2, what's your back end? This is where you should be focused in the very beginning. And lastly, number 9, who is winning now? Who is leading in the space right now? Go get good comps, right? It's like at home, if you're selling a house and you're a realtor, you get comps. It's the first thing you do. If you want your house to be sold, you get comps because you want you want to know what your house is going to be worth, right? I mean, find out who's winning right now and then go use those people, right? To fulfill number 7. How will you seed the site? Find out who's really good or who's really has a popular community, and then just go figure out ways of leveraging that to launch your own. What can you borrow to build? What can you leverage to launch? Well, you can leverage someone else's success, someone else's eyeballs, audience, someone else's, you can spy, do competitive intelligence ethically. I'm not telling you to do anything unethical, but you can certainly do all these things in an ethical and fun and entertaining way. There are tons and tons of tools out there that help you do this, including some really good recent ones. Rand Fishkin just launched launched something which is really, really interesting. I forget the name of it, but I actually have a partner who just signed up, and it's very, very cool. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to find out who has your audience, who's winning now, and how you can borrow those folks to launch your own. Okay, that's it for today. The infographic is available to download, as is this audio, and I may even post a video with this on YouTube as well. So if you're watching this or listening to this on YouTube, feel free to join us at the link below. Thanks so much, and have a wonderful day.